Camp Seneca Lake is like many sleepaway camps, and kids have a ball all summer. Swimming in the lake, doing arts and crafts, playing every sport you could possibly imagine, and so much more. But what is it that makes CSL different than everywhere else? Well, I think we all know the answer to that question.
Color war?
Color war.
Color war.
Color war.
Color war.
Color war.
Color war.
That's right, color war. So what is color war at Camp Seneca Lake, and how did it become such a big thing? Well, it all started in 2007 with this guy and a few other people who wanted to change the dynamic of camp by splitting it into 2 teams, 2 days, and head-to-head competition and everything you could possibly imagine. And even though the only thing most people remember was this, and this epic water balloon fight, the first Color War was still a total success, and it was clear that the camp was moving towards something epic for years to come. For the past decade, Color War has been woven into the fabric of Camp Seneca Lake with amazing memories of standout events and even developing its own vernacular.
The Radius.
Tusk Break.
The Village, Mosaic, and Showdown.
The Aqueduct.
Signature event.
Showdown and the OREC is one of my favorite parts of Color War.
All this brings us to the 10th Color War X.
All right, thanks guys for coming. This is actually the official start to Color War X, the 10th Color War we've done at this camp. But I can't imagine any of you. So tonight was really important for us because we're really close to done writing the program. That's like a long process. We start planning it, several months ago, but you really start writing it usually like 2 or 3 weeks before. So we're very close, and usually the last few percentage points are the toughest, and that's kind of what we've been doing in small groups and then in the big group over the last couple of hours. But we also, of course, started the program in certain ways by passing it to the generals. And as far as where I want us to be right now, we're ahead of there, and there's not really much reason to think that we won't continue this like positive pace and trajectory. To rock, paper, scissors, best of 3. The winner of the rock, paper, scissors, best of 3, will be able to choose their color. They'll have 30 seconds to make their choice after it's drawn. 1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. It's 1-1 now. This is how close the program is. I'm really
Red.
1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Red.
We have a term called the radius. The radius is the length of the program before the program starts. So in the case of Color War X, it was designed to be 48 hours. So the radius is 48 hours before the break at approximately 8:40 p.m. on Saturday, August 6th. So the radius was at approximately 8:40 p.m. on Thursday, August 4th. About 48 hours from now, the program will officially start, but there's a lot of work that will be done in the coming quarter.
So we started off the evening in the Golden View, which is this area in the middle of the woods, and we invited all of the non-general captains to show up at 10 p.m., at which point we prepped them a little bit on the program, gave them some insight as to why they were chosen as captains, and then we had them follow us through the dark to the Cayuga Wreck. Once they entered the Cayuga Wreck, we discussed the program, already gave a detailed outline of all the different facets, and we let them know what teams they would be on, and we also gave them some insight to what their roles would be throughout the duration of Color War X.
More creative.
We're at the point of the program where we're handing it off to other people. We've given the program to the captains, and now that it's written, it's awesome to see what they're going to do with it. And so it's a really exciting time. We're about 48 hours out of Color War X, and we're excited. We're just excited to pass on the program and really see our planning come to fruition.
Lit.
I know Color War 7, Color War 9 are my favorite ones.
It's going to because
I don't really remember. I feel like people are making it way.
I'll just talk at the same time.
Way too much of the thing.
So what do you think's gonna happen this year?
Matt, you talk first.
What's gonna happen this year after war?
lot of stuff.
So it's hobbies. It's 10:18 on Friday, August 5th. We have regular hobbies going on. It's like so important that no one in camp suspects anything. They all like think that they know when we're doing the color war, which is fine, but we can't make it seem like we're doing anything about that. So we're walking around hobbies as we normally do right now, just checking in on things, and all the while we're having these mini conversations about the color war and about where people are going to stay. Right now we're just looking at mattresses and living situations. We're trying to do it as inconspicuously as possible. So this is Junior Sports Zone.
Started to have visitors show up during the radius. On Friday, all of the Tusk 15 kids came, or all the ones who decided were able to come were here, so that was an extra 40 people. Then Friday night, lots and lots of visitors came for Millennial Shabbat, which was actually just like a front for bringing a lot of these guests who were passionate about Camp Seneca Lake Color War to get them into camp physically in the least suspicious way possible, even if it was a little suspicious, as I'm sure it was. So they were here Friday night, Saturday morning, and then they all departed. Saturday at lunch. When all the villages were back in their physical spaces for rest hour, all those people came back to the M field, the 100 or so people who were visiting, and they went into intensive preparation for various parts of the program, both soft and hard setups.
Red youth small, red youth medium, red youth large, red adult small, red adult.
Right now we're just working on building some of the sick tents so that we have more time to do more break focus stuff later in the day. We just finished throwing up a couple thousand balloons, doing bags and such. Yeah, program breaks in about 5 hours.
So I'm setting some tables and we're waiting for Tusk to finish the table setting, and we're going to break color word to them, and there's X's on all of the windows and they're all going to slam down and have big X's, and then the campers are going to find out that it's color word.
Color word just broke to us and we're really excited, and we have to keep it on the down low because we still have the ACP going on later. So yeah.
The hype is real.
The hype is real. So big. It's so big.
So these next 3 days, it's all up to us. We're gonna have to take control and show the camp what color war is.
You know, the break was always big. We learned that if people know it's breaking, it doesn't matter. It is the uniqueness and the thoughtfulness and the method that goes into the break that matters. But also just like the pageantry associated with it. And certainly Color War, as the years have gone on, we've dressed it up bigger and bigger so that campers and staff can feel like they're in something really big.
After seeing that, the Color War break this year was going to mirror the first one, as in a bagpipe procession. I actually was very much more excited.
The procession was led by the 4 Tusk 2007 campers who were able to make it back, who had painted their entire bodies, as they did in Color War 1, and they led an army of alumni in order from Color Wars 1 all the way to Color War 9 down the hill.
So the bagpipers got louder, and then more, you could see the ripple effect from the bleacher seating. So, you know, kids in the second, third row were like, what? You could see the look on their faces where they were like trying to focus on singing, but they know they heard something weird. They were trying to focus on the singing, and it was so confusing. And then people were kind of looking at each other. And then finally, we could see the bagpipers starting to come down the hill, and it got louder and louder.
Once kids saw the red and blue, because they heard the bagpipers for a while, but once they saw the red and blue, they just were up from their seats, jumping. Kids were just going nuts. Onondagan started crying. People are just going nuts.
There's no more electric time in camp than when Color War breaks. Just seeing the absolute joy and excitement in all the other campers' faces. And that's always something I look for now, because it's something that I think is one of the most overlooked aspects of the start of Color War. It's just, honestly, it's like our version of Christmas morning.
To see the kids' faces, they were freaking out.
To see half of camp try to run over to us.
Yeah.
And you have like 2 staff members left in camp that were there.
Yeah.
Shuffling everybody back.
There was one kid like right in front of me, and as things started to get louder and louder, this one kid fully turned around, like he committed to turning around, stood up, and was like, "It's Color War!" And it was such an amazing moment.
Tusk's role in the break wasn't coming from somewhere else, it was coming from within. Very sort of symbolic of the role we expect them to have or take in the program. And those 55 Tusk Color War alumni activated those 55 Tusk campers by giving them their bag, and those Tusk campers in front of the whole camp put those things on, and then they basically led the entire camp over to the road. And as they walked up the road, each village was activated in the same way Tusk was, by getting their bag, getting their shirt, getting their shorts. And by the time they had walked to the office, everybody had gotten their shirts and shorts, and of course their corresponding teams. They ended up in the M field. At the M field, when they arrived, it was darkness, and the skies above the original battlefield of Color War were illuminated by fireworks to basically say it's on.
At that moment, before the first event has happened, every single person in this camp is completely positive that they are going to win Color War, and there's nothing like that. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see.
To understand the structure of Color War X, here's what you need to know. Color War X is broken into 6 parts, 3 of which are directly competitive: Signatures, X Games, Anthology, and 3 of which are more creative: The Village, Mosaic, and Showdown. All of these spanning across a 2.5-day period.
Signature is an all-team event where all campers and staff have the opportunity to participate, and it's an original event.
I think that this program actually had maybe 5 or 6 of the best signatures in the history of Color War.
For this Color War, it's really an original event that's happened before that we're adding a new spin to.
It's what you're going to remember. It's the symbol of the program, but it's the one, sub-event where everyone has a role in accomplishing a goal.
These are the biggest, oftentimes most important events that occur in Color War. There's often not very many signature events, and there's a lot of value placed on them, not only in terms of points, but I think in terms of team morale and spirit. Like winning a signature gives you and your team a whole it gives you guys a whole new mindset. When you win a signature, you feel really good about where you are in the program, and you feel amazing about your possibility and your chance to win.
You win or you lose. You don't get partial points like Showdown. You win the event or you lose the event as a whole team.
So what we've done in our planning is we've tried to create events that have very concrete endings. And so it's easy to tell who is ahead throughout the event, and it's easy to tell who has won when the event is over.
You're not really going to know how they're going to go. There's only so much you can figure out until it actually happens. And I think that's almost the coolest part is, there's so much on the line, and at the same time, you have very little control.
Color War broke, fireworks in the M field, and the big stadium lights came on to reveal the field, which is a shape of an X. They basically came in blind. They came in knowing that they would be claiming their village during the event, and that's about all they knew.
Teams are broken into 10 groups, each corresponding with a section on the X. Groups 1 through 8 pop balloons, uncovering clues to unlock the flag pieces. Group 9 assembles the pieces, and Group 10 raises the flag in the village of their choice. The first team to find the clues, assemble their flag, and claim a village wins. Immediately following Raise the Flag, teams go directly into the second signature. Teams are again broken into 10 groups, each with 3 tusk campers. Each group faces another group in tug of war. The winning team releases their tusk campers to begin the second phase. In the second phase, they must drag a tractor tire filled with supplies across the field, light the eternal flame, and launch all their luminaries. The first team to launch all 10 luminaries wins.
Blue all the way. Nothing can stop us. Spirit is key.
So after the 2 signatures that we had tonight, all of the campers went back to their villages except for Tusk and the captains, who are going to be sleeping here.
Tonight we had our first 2 signature events after we got our teams. The goal was to claim our territory, so we wanted this territory. Luckily we won and we claimed our living spaces for the next 48 hours. This is where we're sleeping, eating, congregating, practicing, all that stuff for the next 48 hours is right here in this area.
We are almost ready to close things down for the night, so they're kind of scurrying around trying to get it together. And then we have a ton of work to do tomorrow. We are so excited to keep going. It's an amazing start, and we cannot wait to wake up and start this all tomorrow to continue with Color War X. Day one. Over here. Hopefully.
Teams are beginning to arrive in about 15 to 20 minutes. They'll do breakfast separately. They sort of run their own meals, so we don't really do anything besides like move the tables underneath the tents. All of the formation they did, the way they want to serve it, they've done, how they hold the team meetings on their respective villages. That's all them, not us, which is really cool. It gives teams like a lot of autonomy like throughout the day.
We got a lot done last night. I am just anticipating a lot of hard work, and these kids and the staff really have to dig deep today to get done all the things that we need to get done. But I think we can do it, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see this place come together.
It's 1-1, and we have already allocated everything for today. So I'm feeling good. We're in a good spot.
Are we gonna win today? Yeah! Okay, so what Mallory's gonna do is she's gonna tell you what you guys are doing this morning.
Every single thing matters. We need every single person in here to give everything they got for the red team.
The anthology volumes are just periods of time where there's small events and both teams are split up into a variety of 20 different events going on, and people got to work in smaller groups or individually.
We wanted to make it so that winning the majority of events in an anthology volume, of which there were 5, would be like a consequential bonus.
There was a creative, an athletic, intellectual, amphibious, which was at the waterfront, and then track and field.
The major objective was to win 51 of the 100 total events across the 5 anthology volumes.
And I think that's the piece of the program that really is written for campers and staff. It's written for their strengths.
It's important to note that for years we were thinking of ways to make events feel more meaningful, and we were able to achieve that in Color War X because these results all counted. And I think that made kids feel like their events mattered more than they would have if it was just an event that was scored and that was it.
We probably rewrote the anthology volumes 100 times.
The first anthology volume was creative. It hosted such events as Lego creation, holobraiding, egg drop, slam poetry, haka, and 15 others held throughout the morning before heading into the first round of X Games.
So we just broke up into our first anthology period. Basically, campers and staff are positioned all over the Red Village. Behind me, the Showdown is practicing. We have campers putting up lights around the village as a part of the competition. The village is graded at midnight tonight, so we are kind of in a time crunch figuring everything out. The Showdown is happening tomorrow night, so we have less than 48 hours to figure out what's going to be going on for that. It's crazy, it's intense. Red is feeling it. We are ready to go. Red is going to win Color War.
And the Mosaic project is a collection of different pieces of wood that each member of the team, campers and staff, are going to create and combine to make a bigger picture. And right now we're just laying out the pieces for our design. So we're going to start sketching soon, and then we're going to start taping over where we want the campers and staff to paint, and then we'll have different campers and staff come and paint their individual pieces, and then we'll get them all down and get the final copy.
In about an hour and a half, we're going to be doing a signature event, which is called Search and Destroy. Right now we have a bunch of Israelites and other alumni guests filling up all the water balloons so that we have roughly 6,000. What's going to happen is going to be water balloons placed in garbage bags throughout camp, and the teams are going to have to go around camp in search parties to collect their water balloons either with their hands or in their shirts and bring them to the M field, at which point they will use those water balloons to knock over a bunch of bins in Operation Destruction style.
Teams disperse around camp in a quest to collect the most water balloons. The balloons are brought to the M field and used in Operation Destruction. The first team to knock all the bins off their tabletop wins.
Let's go blue!
X Games were best of 5 sports and then mind.
sort of like what you think of as almost like a specialty series of competitive events, taking the model from Color War 7 of the best of 7, shortened games.
There was 10 activities that need to be allocated based on age and gender.
And each of those games is actually a different group competing. So it's a best of 5 series, and it's red versus blue, but the first round of basketball might be younger, and the second round of basketball might be older, the third round might be staff.
Every time we have another round of it, another group of people gets a chance to do that sport or that event. And that's refreshing. That shuffles things around in a great way and makes it so that another group could come in, take control of that activity, and tie it up.
So right now
it's sundown.
Yes. And you guys playing flag football. Yeah. And it's tied.
It's improved by a lot since last year, and this is one of the biggest ones, you can tell. And it's really intense and it's crazy.
It's improved so much from the first year.
It's chaotic, but a good chaos.
Yeah.
Currently 5:53 p.m. We have roughly three and a half hours to complete the construction of the Blue Village. Right now we have people behind us putting in the final touches. We do have quite a bit left to do.
I have my list. It's right on my leg right here, so I don't forget what's going on and what needs to be done. I just allocated out a bunch of staff members. We're slowly chugging away through that list. There's a lot on it. They eat here, they sleep here, they are in recreation here, they plan here, they train here, and they're creating this space themselves.
It really seems like something that's never been done before in Color War history, is like building this large long-term project in the span of 24 hours. And I think both teams are doing an excellent job of getting it ready for the final presentation tonight.
Things are really getting down to the wire. We have about 4 hours left, so before that a lot needs to get done, but I see it coming together.
But I really think we're gonna have it ready to go, and I think the Blue Village is gonna have that Color War magic that's really gonna help bring blue over the top.
After the village presentations, the fourth signature closes out the night. Teams are broken into 7 single file lines. Each line must make a ball into a target in order to release a runner to collect fire building materials. The event ends when the first team uses fire to pop all 10 balloons.
Welcome to the fourth signature of Color War X in Vertigovia.
progress since this morning. We are pretty much, we painted, I'd say, about half of it, and we have it all sketched out, and tomorrow we're going to get the rest of the campers who haven't painted a tile to come over and paint their tile.
We've got as many campers together as we can to paint their individual tiles. They all have their names on the back, so they're finding their tiles, and just like we've taped them and color coded them so that they have an idea of like what it's gonna look like.
The campers are all like really excited, and they've been over there watching us, and they're just so excited to paint their piece. It's getting pretty much there. I think we're gonna be finished with it pretty soon.
It's finally coming together.
Yeah.
It took a really long time, but now that people started painting their tiles, it's looking a lot better.
So we just wrapped up like our first full day of the program. We're now, about 26, 27 hours in. The thing got started, last night. We're, just past the midway point of Color War X in terms of timing and some of those measurables. Saying I'm excited about the last day is not appropriate because it doesn't do justice to what the feeling is. The feeling is quite a bit more substantial than that and quite a bit more difficult to describe than that. So that's where we are in Color War X. We'll see you tomorrow!
Right now it's 8 o'clock, it's the final day of Color War, day 2. Everything's super close right now. Last night the villages were finally put together, presented to the entire camp, and each village was sick in their own way. Super excited for the day, it should be great. We're going down to the waterfront, we have a track meet, we have 2 more signatures, and it should be awesome. Go Color War! Woo!
So it's Monday morning, just after 9 o'clock. Showdown is in less than 11 hours now. We take a stage at 8 o'clock tonight. So right behind me now, we have our second act, the glow stick dance, but it starts with a step dance. And this is our big act. This is our 12-person act. Only older campers. We've really pushed these kids pretty hard. We didn't have a ton of dancers, at least on the guy side, on this team. Kids have really stepped up. Kids who've never done Showdown before, and they're going to be ready to go.
We're doing the dance for the showdown. It's so cool. We're gonna win because we have glow sticks. We're learning the hip hop part now.
The last act is the a cappella song. We've got some very talented singers in there, but we also have some kids who don't really sing outside of camp, and I'm really thankful for the hard work they're putting in because they're going to push us to the next level. They're going to push those kids who are singers to try their best when they see kids who aren't singers doing things that they thought they weren't able to do.
We're having so much fun. This Color War is awesome. Red is gonna win.
Yeah, Red!
We're really trying to hype up tonight to our team. They don't really know what's coming. I don't really know what's coming because this is all going to come together in the next couple hours. I know it's going to be sick. It's just about how sick it's going to be.
So it's about 9 o'clock in the morning on day 2 of Color War. We have been practicing for the Showdown at the OREC for about day and a half now. We have campers participating from all villages. All genders are participating. There are talented kids that didn't even know they were talented in the first place, which is amazing. A lot of them are stepping out of their comfort zone for this Showdown, but they're doing a phenomenal job so far. They haven't done anything like it before. What the Showdown at the OREC is just 3 different acts of any kind that you can, whatever you want to do with them, you can do. There's absolutely no prompt. So what the blue team is doing is we are showing the transition from the old to the new Color War. So we have very old school acts like drumline and step dance, and then it shows the progression to the newer through other kinds of dances, glow stick, things like that, into this really beautiful song medley that we've created. I'm very excited. We've been very productive all morning, and I'm really looking forward to the show tonight.
So the amphibious anthology was a hard-fought one. There were a lot of losses from our end.
Sunday night, we were down 1 point. We were down 1 point in the program. We were just thinking, how are we going to tie up Color War right now? And we get to the flavored water, and then we put Logan Amsey down with some great Onondagas by his side. And we're like, we just tied Color War. And from there, we just got the momentum going.
That was probably one of my highlights of the whole program.
These events were so unique for all types of campers.
I think that War Canoe Tug of War was like an Olympic event.
Watching those younger campers do the War Canoe race was the funniest thing. And we put Chris Avison in the boat with them. We're like, Chris, just yell at them, and you're steering.
There was a sailing regatta, but there also was making flavored water.
Nautical warfare, we wanted to win that, so we put some powerhouse teams there.
Rock skipping was amazing. Kids were like, I didn't even know I was good at rock skipping.
I really, really wanted to be in the War Canoe with the Onondagas.
Oh, that's so cute.
But it was fun to watch them.
Yeah.
We, in all honesty, got crushed during Amphibious, but we couldn't hang our heads. So we had to get up.
After wrapping up the Amphibious Anthology, it's time for the 5th signature, the Aqueduct. Teams brigade water from the waterfront to the M field via Mohawk. At the M field, water is collected in a tennis ball-filled bin. As the water level rises, the balls fall out and are activated. The balls are thrown across the field at a small target. First team to hit the target from each zone wins.
Pitcher priority. Let the pitcher. Watch the tape. Watch the tape.
The afternoon consisted of the track and field anthology, the final round of X Games, and the 6th signature event, Overcapture. Following the busy afternoon, teams take an hour break and have dinner before heading over to the OREC for each team's showdown performance.
We're about to go with Showdown. We changed up the order. Acts have gone from like 0 to 100 today. They're incredible. I'm really excited to see them. Honestly, these kids have really blown me away with what they've worked on today.
So we're about 3 minutes until we go into Showdown. We're really excited. We're doing some last minute prep right now, but we're really excited to see all of the red team acts and see what we can do to win.
Thank you for coming to the funeral of Color War 9.
For it is the sauce of the pasta.
We fight for glory! Glory! We fight for honor! Honor! We live for blue! Blue! Attend! Hut! Rules this camp. We make a splash while red is just damn. We take the good with the bad. We make the best of whatever we have. Blue team rules this camp. We make a splash while red is just damn. In our future we see a blue X, and we bet you won't believe what's next. Winds keep rolling in. Dedication will reign in the end. Winds keep rolling in. Pride will guide us home. Passion ignites our bones. And blue will beat you.
Broken down and tired, living life on a merry-go-round. You can't find the fighter, but I see it in you. So
Dynamite was a bullfrog, was a good friend of mine. I never understood a single word he said, but I helped him drink his wine.
Cowgirl in the sand. Hello, cowgirl in the sand. Is this place at your command? Is this place at your command? Can I stay here for a while? If reds and blues all got along, they probably gun me down by the end of the song. Seems like the whole camp go against me. Every time I'm in the chutes, I hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now rise up. Blue team, step up!
final signature of Color War X involves 10 different objectives. The goal is to complete a 10-segment Apache race. Each team member is assigned one leg of the race as designated by their bib. First team to complete all 10 legs wins.
Straight line, okay?
Guys, you got it.
Go.
It's 10:03. We're about to present the Mosaic. It's going to be freaking insane. We've been working on it all this whole time. Really excited. It's going to be great.
We're literally about to go present our awesome Mosaic. All of Tusk worked really hard. All of the campers worked really hard. And now Tusk is a part of this big presentation to the rest of camp. And I'm so excited. They're going to do amazing.
Here, we see the contorted image that makes up Color War. The range and mix of tiles represent the various aspects of these 2 days. Like Color War, this image is subject to your perspective. Altering your perspective and thinking outside the box, you realize that Color War is much more a beautiful symbol of camp and the campers of CSL can accomplish at their peak.
Color War 1, The Uncertain Pioneers.
Color War 4, Finding Light in the Darkness.
Color War 5, Fire and Ice.
Color War 10.
This is your face!
Tick, 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 tick.
You can look back at any videos we have, look back at this year, look back at last year, and without fail you'll see every year, 5 minutes after Color War's over, you see red and blue hugging, you see red and blue crying together. I think the magic of Color War is really when it's over, and you realize that the person you beat in speedball, the person you raced to complete a puzzle against, is just like still your bunkmate and still your counselor, still your friend, still someone you go to Camp Seneca Lake with.
We've worked for 10 years to be able to stand here now and say every single person here did 10 events. They participated in several signatures, and they all participated in an incredible, all-encompassing project.
These kids live and breathe camp during the year when they're not at 200 Camp Road. So when the time comes, when Color War breaks, it's something that they've been looking forward to for 363 days. This is all the kids care about, and when the time comes for them to participate in it, they don't care about anything else. They don't see anything else that's outside of camp. They kind of forget about their friends and their family for back home, because all they have and all they need are their friends and their family at CSL.
It's the type of thing where it doesn't matter who they are, whether you're 8 years old or 25 years old. For those 2.5 days, you will do anything. And I'm telling you, you might not be in this program, you might be thinking, what is this guy talking about? But you will do anything for that person to your left or your right, because that's the kind of environment that we're creating here. And to be perfectly honest, I still don't know how that is, completely created. It's crazy. It's almost, unfathomable why it's happening, but it's happening.
It doesn't really matter, what color shirt you're wearing or what event you're doing. What matters is that Everyone is trying their best, leaving it all on the field and doing it because they want their team to win, not necessarily because they want to win as an individual.
At the end of Color War, after the reveal, when I started tearing up a little bit, watching all of the children and staff cry and sob because it was over, I was just thinking about how in the rest of the world, and most people their entire lives don't ever feel this way once, and we get to feel it however many times we've been a part of it, or however many times we just have come to camp.
I think it might be that expectation that sometime over the summer that moment will happen for your team that brings people back year after year and brings people back to that same feeling of the Color War atmosphere. Is the expectation that something will happen that will change their life. So many people came up to me, or we talked about it later, even if it was a couple days later, and they said, this program taught me more about myself in 2 days than the rest of the summer did.
Campers and staff look forward to Color War 10 months out of the year. They go shopping for it. The office is full of packages, just of hats and morph suits, shoelaces, just of red and blue. And that's what these kids love. They love Color War. They look forward to it. And anyone that thinks that it's too competitive or this or that, they honestly aren't looking at how the kids are so happy doing it.
It's not like some magical, high up, like all-knowing person that creates this meaningful, amazing, cool, sick experience. It's like the people around you and yourself, and that's really cool.
Best part about Color War is no different than the best part about anything. It's the people, and the people are what market the people who came to visit, the people who participate in the program in any capacity. That's no different than CSL. It's about the people, and it's about what the people do together to raise their standards of what they're able to produce. It's do your best, except take the cliche out of do your best and actually do it. Not because you're going to get any kind of bonus. You don't get any bonus. There's nothing other than what you do with it. And I think in most cases that's a lot.
Color War is something that gives back to you through your whole entire life. Whether you were in it, whether you were helping it, whether you were programming it, whether you were moving things, whatever you were doing, it's something that's going to always give back, but you have to access it. You have to know it's there, where it can be there for you when you need it.
If I get people to care as much as they care about Color War here, about anything else, anywhere else, like I'd be a hero.
The point of the program is that it's one team. And you know, you're wearing different colors or whatever, and it sounds really corny, but I'm telling the truth. I was sitting there, I know it. It was just like everybody feeling their highest level of engagement, whether you're 15 at camp or whether you were 15 at camp and still long to feel 15 at this camp. I stood at the bleachers before the break 3 days ago, 2 days ago? 2 days ago, with every single one of the 82 former Tuscarora campers who are working on this staff right now. And they, of course, joined dozens of visitors, including the 40 or so senior campers of 2015, in welcoming you into what I hope has been a total experience for you, and certainly it has been for me, over a quarter century and 10 years in Camp Seneca Lake Color War. I thank you all for your efforts and caring. So without further ado, we are going to light up this X in a certain color, and that certain color will tell you who is the winning team of this 10th Color War.
And the winner is